All right, welcome back. Today we're going to learn how we've assembled our piece, we've created our piece, we've broken it down into pieces, we've flattened it out, we've made our 3-layer sketches, or our sketches of each of the 3 layers. Now we need to take these layers, save them into what's called a DXF file format, and it's just a format that saves lines, and we can use that in our next program to create the cut lines for the laser. So to do that, we're going to come over here to our sketches folder. So if it's closed, we're going to open it with this little triangle. Come down here to our layer 1. We're going to right click on it and do save as DXF. Now where you save this is going to be tricky. Let me know and I'll tell you where to save it. And I'll help you how to manage your files. It's just weird right now. I don't want to talk about it during the video. So I'm going to save mine to Fusion 360, 3D printer enclosures, Placard. I'm going to create a new folder called DXF files. Open. I would suggest when you do it to save it with this file structure as well. Just organize your stuff. We have so many files in here, it's going to be hard to find it if we just dump them anywhere. We've got to get good at organizing our files. So layer 1, and I'm going to name this 27,360. And I'm going to use a comma instead of a decimal point because points in file names typically mean that like it's .dxf. We don't want decimal points in here if we can avoid it. It's a bad habit to have. So layer 1 is that, so I'm going to click save. I'm going to repeat and do the same thing for the other layers, saving them in the same place. I'm going to click layer 2 here, and this one should be 10,123. Save, and then the last one's layer 3, DXF, same as that one, but layer 3. Now I have those 3 sketches saved as DXF files. I'm going to go ahead and close out of Fusion and open up Inkscape. If you're trying to find Inkscape, click down here in the search button and type in INK, and Inkscape should pop up. It looks like a little mountain with ink flowing out the bottom of it. When you get there, yours might look a little different than mine. I've been using mine, so I have some things that are open that probably isn't this window open yet for you. And I'm using the dark background to help, save my eyes and energy. So what I'm going to do first of all is go to File and go down to Document Settings. Sorry, Document Properties. File, Document Properties. Over here, I'm going to change the size of my page size here. I'm going to switch the millimeters to centimeters over here on the right. And then I'm going to come over here and change the width to 60 centimeters. Enter. And the height to 30. Our print bed for our laser is 60 centimeters by 30 centimeters. So that's why we made our page size that, so we know how much room we have to work with on the laser. So right now I'm zoomed in way too far. This is the edge of the page. So I'm going to come over to the white space, hold down the control key, and while I'm holding the control, I'm going to roll the mouse ball. That's how you zoom in and out. I'm going to zoom way out like this, so I have a small page here. And to move left and right, if you push down on the mouse ball, and you can drag it all around the screen, just like in Fusion. The only weird thing is that if you want to zoom, you have to hold down control. If you just roll the mouse ball or the mouse wheel, it will just like go up and move it up and down instead of go in and out. So control makes you zoom in and out. All right, so far so good. This is our cutting bed for the laser. Now we need to import our drawings from Fusion 360. So we're going to go here and say File, Import, Layer 1, and click Open. Here you're going to click OK. You're going to get a second window that pops up probably. Just click on the Don't Pop Up Again button and click OK. Don't change any settings in there. Now once I bring this in, I want to right away, I'm going to size it. And I need to know that number from my file. So File, Import, I need this number. So I need 27360, and the other 2 are 10. So I'm going to write down all 3 of them because I'm going to need them all in a second. I don't have to remember them. So I'm going to hit cancel here. I just opened this to get the number from. Hit cancel here. Now I need to resize this. Right now it's way too big. So you can see up here, if I change this to millimeters or centimeters up here, whoops, centimeters, It's right now 69 centimeters high, and it should only be about 27. So we have to make this the right number here. Before I do that though, I need to click on this lock button. I'll show you what happens if I don't. If I just type in the 27.36 right now, and I hit enter, notice how it didn't shrink it sideways. It just shrunk it vertically, and it's all weird and stretched now. So I'm going to Control Z to undo that. And then I'm going to come over here and click on this lock button. And now I'm going to type it in again. I'm going to type in 27.36 for me. Your number will be different, so don't use my number. And now you can see it shrinks the width and the height together, and that's what that lockbox does. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is change the colors. So the laser, whenever it sees a red line, it knows to cut all the way through the plywood. When it sees black, it knows to engrave, so don't cut all the way through. So we want all of these to be cut lines. We want them to cut all the way through. So we're going to make them all red. So we're going to go here to Object, and we're going to come down to Fill and Stroke. Fill is the color on the inside of each shape. We don't want any fill. Stroke paint, we want to come here to this first one and do a flat color. And we want to change that color up to red. And it's got to be a very particular red. This red is called 25500. If I do a minus here, this red looks exactly the same, except it's called 25400. It's just a tiny shade different. We can't even tell, but the laser can, and the laser won't cut 254 red. It only cuts 25500 red. If I had one here, it wouldn't cut the line. It would think it was too pink. Super weird, but that's how it works. So 25500. You can see it's already turned my lines red, but they're really thin and hard to see. So I'm going to come here to Stroke Style, and I'm going to increase this to 0.4. Now I can see them really easily, and I can zoom in a little bit even. Well, I'm going to stay zoomed out, I think. All right. Next thing I need to do is import my next two layers. This is layer 1. I need layer 2 and layer 3. So I'm going to come over here and say File, Import, Layer 2, and its height is 1010. I need that number. Open. Click OK. And this, this height, I'm going to make sure the lock is on, which it is. And I'm going to change the 25 to 10. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do Stroke Paint, all the way to 255. Stroke Style at 0.4. Enter. And now that one's ready to go. Now I'm going to do it again. File, Import, and layer 3 is coming next. Okay. Right away, I'm going to change the height to 10. I'm going to change the stroke paint to 255, the style to 0.4. Awesome. Now I've got them all in there, and now I need to just try and figure out how to organize things to use the least plywood possible. The one thing to think about in plywood is that the grain of the wood runs horizontally from left to right. So if you want for example, this piece right here, the facing piece of it, I'm going to want that to have the grain going sideways. I think it will look nicer. So I'm going to put it on horizontally. And the other ones, though, I don't really care about, so I can put them in whatever direction I want if it makes it fit better. All right, so before I do that, though, I do need to break some stuff apart. So this one has 4 parts to it, but they're not perfectly organized. So I'm going to ungroup these. Right now they're grouped together. To do that, I'm going to hold down Control, hold down Shift, and then press G once, keeping Control and Shift held down. And then I'm going to keep pushing G until at the bottom here it says no groups to ungroup. That's when I know I'm done. So once I'm done with that, I can click anywhere in the white space to clear off the selections, and then just drag one of these onto the cutting bed for the laser. That's the first one. Now that worked great because it was all just one outline, but watch what happens when I do this one, which has a square on the inside as well. When I move it, I just grab the square, or I just grab the outside. I need to actually regroup those two pieces together so they stay together because they're not supposed to separate like this. So I'm going to do Control Z once, twice to put them back together again. And now I'm going to drag a box around them to select both of them. You can see I've got both of them selected now. And I'm going to do Control G instead of Control Shift G. So Control G groups, Control Shift G ungroups. And now I'm just going to take these and put them right in here. Oh, notice how when I get close, it just snaps together. I hate that feature. It's called the snap feature. It can be useful, but it's just too much right now. So I'm going to go here to File, Document Properties. I'm going to come here to the snap menu, and I'm going to turn snap from 20 all the way down to 1. I'm just going to drag those over. And now when I come back over here, watch how it won't snap anymore until I get really close, then it snaps. So that's kind of nice. I got that just like that. Now I'm noticing that this piece, this is all waste here. This is going to get cut out and thrown away. So maybe I can use, no, I can't really use that for anything. I'm trying to grab this piece. There you go. Good job, piece. Now when I do this, I want to make sure I keep a little bit of spacing in between them, but I also want to keep a little bit of distance from the side edge. So I wonder if, actually, maybe I can squeeze, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to see if I can squeeze these inside here. Oh, I can. Look at that. Beautiful. Now I'm not wasting this piece of plywood right there. Awesome. Awesome. And then, let's see. This is the back piece. I'm actually okay if this piece doesn't have the grain going across it. So what I'm going to do to get the fit better, I'm going to come up here to the rotate keys. And I can rotate this selection 90 degrees and put it on like this. And now I've got this whole piece of plywood over here that's not wasted. So I like that idea a lot. Now I also want to keep my plywood, my drawings away from the edge a little bit. I don't want them right there on the edge. Otherwise, I might not have, the plywood might not be the perfect size, and I might be off the edge of the plywood. So I want to give myself a little bit of grace up there, and that looks great. The only last thing I want to do is I want to add to the face of it, I want to add which printer it is. I want to write that on there with black so it gets engraved. To do that, I got to figure out which one's the face. So this is the back one, this is the medium one, and this is the face of it. I know that because there's no tabs over on this side. The face is nice and clean. So I'm going to come over here and grab my text tool. I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to say this is printer. Let me know what number. Yeah, let me know what number you want to. Ask me and I'll tell you what number you are. How about that? That's a better way of putting that. And then I'm just going to make this bigger. I'm just going to try some stuff. And I can make this bigger in two ways. I can double click on it here and I can change the point and say like, oh, 60 point font, right? Or I can click up here on this tools and select it, and I can just grab it and drag it bigger as well. I want to make sure I don't grab this side because look how it stretches it. That does not look good. Well, it doesn't look bad actually. I can also change the font, and let's do that. Let's change the font to, I want to think of which one I was using. It was an M1. Montserrat. And bold. Okay, let me see how that looks. Yeah, that looked great when it's engraved. So now I'm going to change it to, I'm going to just do it through the font size and not through this so we're all the same. I want to say, let's try 45. Nope. 45. Yep. Let's try 60. Actually, I'm going to undo real quick till I get back to the very beginning. Okay. Because I think what I did when I resized, I would have messed everything up. So I just fixed that now. So I'm going to go back down here to Montserrat. And I'm going to turn on bold right here at the top. And then I'm going to make this into 45. Oh, that looks way better. Okay. And I'm going to click back here and change it to printer. I'm going to push enter. And I'm going to do printer. And I'm going to do a hashtag 8. And I'm going to center this whole thing. So right up here is the center tool. Boom, just like that. I think that looks like that's what we want. That's our number. So we want whoops, click back in here. Oh, is it not the right font? Check to make sure your font is correct. It can sometimes be picky about when it switches. Oh, I think I'm making a new one. I don't know. Now I'm lost. Here I'm in there now. Yeah, mine's staying, I don't know. It doesn't matter what font it is, actually. So just make sure it looks like this, and then make sure you get the right printer number from me, because not everyone can do their own printer number. We have to go through 1 through 8, 1 through 12 actually is what I'll go through. So let me know, I'll let you know what number we're on. And once we're done with that, we're really done. Like we're ready for the printer now. So here we're gonna do File. Oh, one last thing. If we had a lot more parts and they didn't fit on this page, we have to make just a second page. We can't have anything hanging off the edge because that's outside the printer's cut area. So we just make more than one page, which is totally possible. So real quick, let's do File and Save As. I'm going to save mine in that same place where I was saving everything else. You're going to do the same. So save it with your other stuff. Fusion 360, mine's in 3D printer enclosures, Placard. And I like to put this in its own folder because sometimes you have 4 or 5 files of this stuff, although this time we only have 1 page. I'm going to call this Cut Lines. And I'm going to open it up, and in here I'm going to say Computer Placard. Page 1 of 1. And I add that because that way I know if I have more than one thing to cut, I don't accidentally forget to cut the other pages of it. So I know this is only 1 page. So I go to cut, I'm like, okay, I'm done with just that 1 page. Okay, well that's it for Inkscape. Hope that worked out well. You're going to take this file over the laser and just cut it.